From the gridiron to the hardwood, where rivalries cross borders and champions are made, this is the home of the athletes who leave it all on the field and the communities that cheer them on. Welcome to the Stateline Arena on Klmx, your ultimate weekly pass to the biggest plays, the toughest matchups, and the brightest stars in high school sports across the region. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Anna Haston-Daney. Every single week, we are crossing the borders to bring you the highlights, the scores, and the stories behind the athletes who make Friday nights unforgettable. Whether you're cheering from Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, it's happening on our courts, our fields, on the pavement, in the dirt. We've got you covered right here in the arena. We've got a massive lineup of highlights to get to today, so let's not waste any time. Strap in. The game starts now.
All right, Bear fans, we are here today with our new head coach for the Clayton Yellow Jackets, Brent Sutterwhite. Did I say that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. And we've also got Captain Eli Cisneros. You're a junior this year, as we discussed right before this interview here, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so if you guys just want to say hi to our Bear fans out there, start us off
Hello,
here.
y'all.
All right, so let's just dive right into this. Let's talk about Cuesta up there in Cuesta. You guys had a 3-hour delay on this game, but then you dominated. How was that? How was your first game, Coach, in your words?
The delay was frustrating. It was a lightning delay and then a little bit of rain, but it just seemed to take forever. And these guys would come out and then they would go back in, and then they'd come out and I'd make them go back in. They were getting really tired of getting ready to go play and then not being able to play because the lightning would strike. And our MAA rules say that after a lightning strike within 10 miles, you got to sit for 30 minutes before you can start again. And so each time it happened, we'd be back another 30 minutes. And so we just kept waiting and waiting and waiting. And then Dulce is the team we actually played in Cuesta, and they said if we didn't get started by 6:30 that they were going to be traveling home, that they couldn't stay and play the ball game. So we were fortunate we got started just a little bit before 6, I think, and then made us get home late, but that's okay. We got to play.
Yeah, we were all kind of anxious, not knowing whether that game was going to happen or not, and we're so glad that it did, because great way to start off our season there.
Yes, ma'am.
With that big win.
We started off really strong. I told them the specific play that we wanted to run. So we're going to score on the first play. And we got the ball back from them. We held them and got it back, and we did. Yeah. And then we weren't able to get a lot of points early, but before it was over with, we were rolling up some points. Eli Ritchie, one of our Des Moines guys that comes down and plays for us, was our quarterback, and he had about 300 yards total offense. Had 6 touchdowns, I think 3 2-point conversions, and threw for like 50 yards. I don't have all my stats. Plus, he had probably 6 or 7 tackles. Again, I don't have my stuff here. This guy had several tackles for us. He had some tackles for loss. Elijah's our starting center and defensive end, and had a big game for us. I think we only had one snap that was a little bit low. We bobbled, but other than that, we had a really good night, snapping the ball and getting plays off. And so it was fun to see everybody get out there and finally get rolling and get the chance to play, because that was that's what we went over there to do. And here we are standing around trying to keep them off the gym floor. One of the moms was bringing us snacks. We were doing everything we could to stay ready and be able to play when we could. And finally it happened. And yes, it was huge to get to win like that in our first outing, in my first ball game here.
Were you ever at all concerned that they would get tired, lose motivation in that 3-hour waiting period, not be able to just turn it back on? Or I heard it was an AstroTurf. Were you concerned at all that would play an effect to how they played, or any of those factors?
The turf plays like grass usually. That one was a little bit slick, but it was a nice field.
Good.
And you're always concerned as a coach. Sometimes you'll think, man, we're really ready to go, and you take the field and you end up being flat and you don't play well. And other times you think, man, these guys are not ready at all, and you come out like we did and strike right off the bat with a big touchdown run. So you just never know on that part of it. But there's always a concern as a coach. You're trying to think of everything that get all your ducks in a row and have everything ready to go, and it just keeps messing up, and it messes with the rhythm of what you got going on. But to our credit and the leadership of guys like Elijah, that everybody's ready to play when it was time to play.
That's awesome. And credit to the coaching, I would say.
Well,
so
thank you.
You just moved here this year. Where did you move to Clayton from, and why Clayton?
I've been in Jowl the last couple of years.
Oh, wow.
And before that, I was at Tatum for 4 years. This was my started my 7th year in New Mexico. I was in Texas for 31 years.
Wow.
Started my career off in Dalhart, just down the road, so I feel like I've come full circle. We came up here, looking for another opportunity, but also to get closer to home, as my folks are where they kind of need me to help them a little bit more. And so I'm only, my home base is 2 hours and 20 minutes away.
That's awesome.
So I'm still doing what I love to do, and have a great opportunity in a strong community with good kids and great administration. So I'm happy to be here. My wife did stay back in Texas, and she's teaching pre-K in Panhandle, Texas, where we have a home. But no, it's just exciting to be here, and I'm enjoying being further north, except for the really high winds and the snow we're probably fixed to get this winter.
Yeah, you won't escape those winds.
No.
We
Didn't
get
have as much down there.
seasons of wind.
But no, it's been great. People here have been great. Sport's been great. These guys have been great, and they've worked hard for us, and they're learning and getting better.
Well, we're really proud to have you
Thank
as part of our coaching staff, a head coach, obviously. We've needed some real consistency, I feel like, for a long time with our coaching, for our football. Now, everything that I've heard, it's so easy to hear things in this town, without ever getting any information. But now I've got the horse here to get it. So I hear that you've just had a very strict rules with these guys. You're very they know what to expect from you, which makes it very easy for them to want to work for you and respect you, and that you've just been very consistent so far in everything that you've been with them. Would you agree, Elijah?
Yes. He's
Let's talk about your new coach here. He's not here right now. You just tell us.
Remember, we
about
got practice later.
Yeah. He can't hold this against you.
He's a great coach. He's probably one of the better coaches we've had in a while. One of the better head coaches. He comes from very strong teams. We feel like we have more strength, or more, more of a foundation to build off of.
Okay.
And feel like we have more of a team rather than individuals.
Which is everything. I mean, if you're not a team on that field, if everybody's trying to be an individual, then what happens?
Falls apart.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the fans have seen that for a lot of years, right? Kind of falling apart. You guys have done great also for a lot of years, not to diminish anything that you guys have done. But you can see when that unity fails on the field, or when you guys get in your heads and things like that. So do you feel like that's going to be a struggle this year at all for you guys? What is your struggle?
We have a lot of better team bonding this year. Like, we have more communication. Everybody's more friendly instead of trying to one-up each other.
Yeah.
I think one of our main struggles, we might need to be a little bit more violent, more
violent. Not with each other, just
not with each
aggressive.
Other, like, more aggressive on the field.
Okay.
Like bigger hits, bigger tackles, stuff to get everything going.
Right. Because we're playing some I wouldn't say easy teams, but the harder teams are going to come later, right? When we get to districts, when we play Fort Sumner, they're always a beast.
2 weeks we have Melrose.
Melrose is always a beast. They corn-fed boys. When we meet them corn-fed kids every year, it's tough, right? Down there. What is your plan for meeting these bigger teams?
We're just going to keep working hard and being prepared, and being mentally tough enough to do what it takes to be competitive with those people. Can't let them get in your head, and we want to respect the people that we play, but we're not going to fear any of them. And a lot of that comes from these guys working hard together and seeing they've made an investment. That's one of the big things that we do as coaches, is we're going to require a lot of them, and you put that time and effort into something, it's harder to give it up. And so we're going to push them to work harder and invest more in what we do, and as a result we'll be mentally tough enough to hang with these people.
Sure.
And that's then after that it's just play ball and fight for it and see what happens. But if you let them get in your head, then it's not much fun to play those guys. And we've all because I was at Tatum for 4 years, and I got to experience both Fort Sumner and Melrose, but we did defeat Melrose in the state championship in 21. So we've beaten Melrose in the past, but people kind of let that get to them. Their tradition that they have, them and Fort Sumner both, and they've been powerhouses.
Right.
And our kids are gonna have to learn to have that same mentality. And
Right.
I think that's the thing I think we're working the hardest on is getting to the point where our mentality is right. That's what he meant by the physical part.
Yeah.
When we tackle people, they need to know we tackled them. And that's the
Yeah.
mental edge that you get if you're really physical with other teams, and it hurts to get hit by us, and maybe you don't want it nearly as bad as you thought you did. And when that happens, you start gaining the mental edge.
Right.
And I would say that Fort Sumner and Melrose of the past have been that kind of team. They're kind of bully ball, so to speak. But we're gonna rise up to that and be able to be right in the middle of it, I think, and have the right attitude and be tough enough physically and strong enough physically to be able to do that. Hitting the weights really hard. You can see this guy.
Yeah.
He's pretty puffed up over here. He's hit the weights really hard. He's one of our strongest kids and state
Nice.
champion powerlifter. And
Heck yes!
so-
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So,
That's your sophomore year then.
Yes, I was a sophomore last year and want to get a couple more of these next couple years.
Heck yeah, you will. That's crazy. Good job. That's awesome.
so those are the kind of things we believe in, and these are the kind of guys that we're gonna go to battle with. So
So
feel good
is
about that.
Is that part of the investment you're talking about too? Like doing some off the field things that aren't in practice
Well,
required of you? I mean,
I think so. I think those are team bonding opportunities. If you do things within the community, we've talked about some of those types of things where we could go out in the community and do things for people.
yeah.
We haven't planned anything specific like that, but those are things we need to do. We had a really cool decals with Dad the other day. Had a great turnout.
I saw that on Facebook.
And it involved our parents in that. Mom's decorated the locker room. Probably Dad's too, and maybe some mom's striped helmets. It didn't really matter. It's just a title.
Right.
But we had a good time with that, and then we ate hamburgers and hot dogs afterwards and had a little fellowship, and so I thought that was really good. I think everybody's excited. We had more balloons in our locker room than we could step over. It was pretty cool, and so those are the kind of things we need to do. We need to draw the community in
Yeah.
and get the support of the community, and we want to pack that stadium out there and have everybody excited for us. That's the stuff these kids live for.
Absolutely.
All that racket and the band and everything, and it'll be fun. But we have to earn that respect, and so that's what we're trying to do right now is work hard and get ready for it.
It sounds like you guys have weeks and weeks on the road. Plenty of time to earn that respect for these fans in the crowd come October, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had a season where you've traveled like this? Like this far? I mean, we've gone to JAL a lot. It's like 3 years in a row we had our finals down in JAL.
Mm-hmm.
So we are used to traveling long distances to play football, basketball, whatever. Are you?
Well, in Texas I travel a lot, but I don't think I traveled nearly as much as I have here, and I think the 8-man football is the reason we travel as far as we do. If we could
Sure.
play 11-man, you could schedule, Dalhart or somebody for
Right.
a game, but you can't do that in 8-man. You gotta travel. When I was at Tatum, we scheduled Lordsburg, and
How far
Lordsburg's
is
on the
that?
other side of the state. It was like a good 6-hour drive,
Oh yeah.
pushing 7 when you stop and get off and get stretch a little bit.
Right.
So that's a drive over, and then you got your 7 hours back after dark with all the animals around Ruidoso. So that was always a challenge. And then they ended up, as I was leaving Tatum, they had them in the district. That was a district ball game, which was crazy. So, but when I was in Tatum, we traveled. We traveled to Dulce, the team we played this last weekend, and played a game up there on a Saturday. So, we've been a lot of miles on buses in New Mexico. Some of that has to do with the lack of population in the state, but the other thing is the fact that there's not that many schools. Off the top of my head, I think there's either 16 or 18 eight-man schools total, and so
it's
not a lot, and we're pretty spread out.
Right.
So you're just going to travel.
Yeah.
I can't say that I've been on the road as much, where we didn't have as many home games, but next year we'll have a lot of home games. So it'll flip over and it'll be great next year.
Well, and I think a lot of people are not understanding why we're on the road so much this season, because we are having, technically, they're considered home games, right? These first 2 games are considered home. It's just that we're playing on a neutral site so that both teams don't have to travel, or our one team doesn't have to travel 8 hours, which is kind of fair, right?
It balances out.
It does. I mean, it sucks for our fans.
It does.
But
it doesn't for this guy over here paying the bills.
I was about to say, but it benefits our school.
$5 diesel right now is, and
yeah.
if you're traveling a long ways on a bus that gets 3 miles to the gallon, it's going to get expensive
Pretty
to travel. So it's just the way the schedule kind of worked out this year. But we'll see it, because like I said, next year we're going to get to play at home a lot.
Yeah.
And even the ones we meet, that was a beautiful trip that we made Saturday over there.
Oh, I love that
and
drive.
Beautiful setting. And it was good for our fans and good for them and for Dulce, and it just worked out. So, I mean, and maybe we got some fans that came that far but wouldn't go all the way to Dulce.
Right.
So, different ways to look at it.
Sure.
And then if you travel to Dulce to play, then you got to drive all the way back that night too.
Forget a hotel, which we know the boss man loves to front that money too, right?
Yeah, that's another very expensive venture.
Yep.
So.
Well, them kids in a hotel, I'm sure it's a lot.
Well, I can assure you no coach wants that either.
No.
We don't want to stay up all night making sure they do what they're supposed to.
No, I can't imagine. All right, so let's just real quick, let's talk about this week. Coming up, you guys are going to be playing in Melrose against Hagerman. That is at 7 p.m. in Melrose. What can we expect from this game from the Yellow Jackets, Elijah?
Well, from the line side of things, I want to make sure my 2 guards get their jobs done. We learn the plays, we know the plays. I want to make sure that we're doing our jobs and helping our great QB Eli to run the ball towards that end zone and help our skill players do their jobs.
That's great. That's awesome. Coach, what do you see?
Well, it's a little bigger challenge than we had last week. Hagerman's got a great number of kids. I think they're over 20
on
their 8-man crew, and last year they didn't even know if they'd have enough for a team. Now they've got good numbers. I've watched them a little bit on tape, and they got some good ball players. They always have speed. They've won multiple state championships in track, so their speed will be something we'll have to defend against. And then they got some big, strong kids too. They got notice their nose tackle he's a big boy, and so he'll be a challenge to block him. But this guy's big and strong, so that guy will outweigh him. But I guarantee he's not as strong as this guy. So we'll be fine there. But there'll be a better football team than what we played. But as long as we clean up some things that we need to clean up from the Dulce game, then I like our chances. And it's like just the things that he told you right there. He knows what we expect, and he knows what he wants, and he knows why we want that. And so we're that's 9/10 of the battle. We can move forward and fix the things that we need to fix and get better. Yeah. So I look for us to play better, more consistent football than what we played the other day. And we got the nerves out of our system, so to speak. Because, there'd be some of that in the first game. We had some motion on our first snap, and I got real nervous with the motion and the snap and everything having to happen, and it was perfect. And Eli went for like 75 yards on the first snap. So everything these guys blocked, and Eli executed the snap and the fake and went for a touchdown. So then we had a couple struggles the next series where we turned it over. Those are the things we clean up this week and clear up some blocking assignments that we need to fix there. But overall, I think we got something to build on. So I hope people come to Melrose, support us, and see us be better than we were at Dulce.
Absolutely. So aside from traveling and going and watching you guys, because that is a huge deal to have some fans out there cheering for you as far as motivation goes, what else can your community do for you guys? How can we be there to support you other than in the crowd? I mean, we'll be there, but what else can we be doing to help you guys along the way?
I think just giving us the kind of motivation being there is good and everything, but I like having a community behind us that cheers us on even if they're not there. And it's always nice to have people show up to our little events, getting some more team bonding, team players with their parents. Yeah, it's very fun to have the community help us out with those things.
Sure.
I think the thing that you don't see, and it may be here, it may not be, but I know it's been here in the past, but it's a big deal in small Texas town. All the farmers and the ranchers are down at the local coffee shop the next morning discussing the game.
Yes.
And if somebody comes in that played in that game, they all want to talk to him, tell him what a good job he did. So I would say, as a community, when you see these guys out and about, give them some encouragement. Tell them that you're proud of them. Tell them that you want to come out and watch them when you can. That maybe you can't now because we're on the road, but you'll be out there when we have our first home game, and that you're excited to be able to come out and watch and support these young guys, and tell them how important it is to represent our community in the right way. And we want to restore some of the tradition that has been in this community in the past. So that's how you do it. Everybody gets excited about it, and everybody's talking to these guys. And sometimes there's a guy walking with them that doesn't play, and he's like, wow, I could be getting some of that too if I played,
Right.
And maybe people are encouraging more kids to come out and be a part of what we do. So that's how I think the community can support us, is just every time you see these guys, how's it going? How'd you do this week? Things like that. We're really excited to see you out there, and we want to come support you, and it'll go from there.
That's really great, and probably something that people don't, I think in today's day and age, people maybe don't think about always going and out of their way to do something or say something nice to another person as much as we used to before COVID, right? We were just talking today how since COVID, people don't do it as much. They don't get out as much. They don't go places, and they're not as involved. And you're correct. We have to get back to that. That's how we stay bonded as a community. That's how we grow our youth. That's how we show our youth that we care and we are here for you.
I think that's one thing with COVID that really hurt us, was we began to film everything, and so people just said, I can watch the game from the comfort of my chair, and they didn't come out anymore.
Right.
And it didn't mean they weren't supporting us, but they just weren't out there.
Right.
And so I think, we lost out a little bit in there, that people now just figure I'll just stay home and watch.
Right.
So I don't know what our situation is here, whether we've got a live feed going on for everybody to watch or not, but I wouldn't, even if we do, I'd encourage you to come out and watch the game live and see the kids. And
it's never the same on a screen than it is being there in the stadium around the crowd, getting your nachos at the concession stand or whatever. And
those organizations need your support too.
They do. I mean,
fundraising money for different organizations.
Absolutely, and it all matters. It all matters so much.
But those things also pull your community together, and we're all about that. And we're a small town. What else we got going on?
Right.
There's just not much else to do.
Yeah.
So come out and support the kids, hang out with people in the community, and eat a hot dog or a hamburger and have a good time.
Definitely. Well, we're so excited to have you. Welcome to Clayton, officially from your local radio station, Klmx. But also, I'm excited to see what you, Elijah, and your team is going to do this year on that field. I have nothing but confidence in you. Sitting here in front of me, you seem so mature, and you sound like you really know what's going on. You have a good, clear picture of what needs to be done, and it seems like you're treating it like a job. Go out there, handle your business, and man, we're proud of you guys already. Even if nothing happens but losses from here on out, we are proud of you as long as you go out there and take your whole heart and leave it out there every week. Very proud.
Thank y'all for having us.
Every week, we want you guys back out here. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to say to the community before we hang it up?
Thanks for your support.
All right. Awesome. Well, we will see you guys next week here on the Stateline Arena here in Klmx.